Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of Super Rugby Pacific. This one, the Waratahs at home, taking on the Chiefs. 22 degrees Celsius, relatively hot one for an evening contest. And these two sides are sitting relatively well at this current point in the competition. Looking at the way that the table sits, currently the Chiefs, they were in first heading into this round. We've just seen the victory for the Crusaders, which has brought them into the first place position. And then alongside that, we do still see the Chiefs in second. The Tars currently, they do sit in that sixth place spot. But a win here boosts them right up. They could find themselves really shifting nicely towards those playoff matches. Of course, the top six do make it through to the next stage. Looking through at the lineups for this contest. First of all, for the Waratahs, it is Angus Bell, Dobbins and Bota as the front row, Sinclair and Grant in the locking duo, Rob Leota, Adamson and Lengy Gleeson as the number 8, Teddy Wilson alongside Lawson Creighton as the number 9, as the number 10, I should say, Joey Walton and Lalakai Foketi in the midfield, Tristan Riley, Andrew Callaway and Joseph Suali'i slotting in as the number 15 for the Chiefs. Away from home, Ollie Norris, Talkiaho and George Dyer as the front row, Marakai Selby Rickett alongside Tupavai in the locking duo with Samapeni Finau, Luke Jacobson and Parker will get to play the number 8 row, Ratama and Jacob, young combo as the 9-10, Tapai and Rappling in the midfield. He actually had a very strong game last week. Leroy Carter out on the wing, Sean Stevenson out on the other, and Damien McKenzie plays at number 15. Now, we did see Josh Jacob have a real impact off the bench, so they've decided why not give him the start, see if he can play that same role. Looking at what happened last week, the Chiefs were able to get themselves the victory over the Reds, 27 points to 15. The Waratahs, they were defeated by Moana Pacifica, 45 points to 28 after leading by 14 at halftime. They went on conceded about 38 points, I think it was, in the second half, which is an insane number to be conceding in just one half of rugby. So they'll have to make sure they finish this match a lot better, get themselves back on the winning track. In the chat, we have got the hi everyone. Hope you're all doing well. See Sebastian, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing well as well. We have got the Hamish, welcome back. And also we have the Leroy Carter. Get it, boys, says Ruth. We do just see the form there of the Crusaders, of the Chiefs. The only game that they have lost is to the Fijian drawer in Fiji. Other than that, though, they've had a very strong Super Rugby Pacific. The Waratahs, they've had a little bit of a mixed bag, I think is the best way of describing it. They did start their season off in emphatic fashion, but since then it's been a little bit up and down. Force beat the Highlanders, says George. That is true. And we have got their, could it be their year Chiefs? Well, at the moment, they have started about as well as they could have. Like I said, the only game that they have lost is up against the Fijian draw. Other than that, though, they have been about as perfect as it could have gone for them. Yeah, just talking about Sean Stevenson having his 100th game last week. Now, the Waratahs, they have had 3 of their last 5 games have been losses. They beat the Western Force, they beat the Brumbies. They did lose to the Reds, Hurricanes, and Moana Pacifica. And it doesn't actually get that much easier for the Waratahs. When we look through at what is to come for them, next week they play the Fijian draw. That has taken place in Fiji. Then they play the Brumbies again. Then the Reds, then the Crusaders, then the Force, and then the defending champs, the Blues, are their opposition for the final contest. But Angus Bell, he has got his milestone match here. He gets to lead this Tars side out. This is his 50th appearance for the Waratahs and also for his Super Rugby career. In terms of what the Chiefs have coming up, they have got the Highlanders. They play the Force the week after, the Canes, the Crusaders, Moana Pacifica, and the Highlanders. So a lot of matches still involving New Zealand sides for the Crusaders, for the Chiefs in the future. Crusaders still fresh on the mind, of course, getting themselves the winner over the Hurricanes just before. We're ready for this game at Allianz Stadium. Referee in charge of this one is Angus Maybe. James Leckie is there as the TMO, and Marcus Playle and Stu Curran as the assistant referees. We have got there Aussie tough. Never underestimate the Kangaroos. They can kick hard, says Ruth. Very good evening from Brisbane, mate. How are you going? Doing very well. Excited for this weekend of rugby. We have got Champions Cup, Challenge Cup, and Super Rugby that we are covering on the channel. So a little bit of everything coming up very soon. But we are ready to go. The Waratahs going to be kicking this one off from right to left. Nicely taken by Quinn Tupai inside of the 22 off to Simon Parker. Like I said, it's getting the opportunity at number 8 for this matchup. As Aussies love watching there's Skimpy, the Bush Kangaroo. Sears Matthew. Nice kick towards the touchline from the Chiefs, managing to find it around the halfway line. Tars will have themselves the line out. But this Jacob McKenzie combo, one that perhaps, if it goes well here, we might see quite a bit of throughout the playoff games. McKenzie, in terms of what he was playing for the All Blacks, it was a lot more of the 10 role. Perhaps they see a future of him at 15. I'll be back later, says George. We will see you later on. To the Crusaders win. They did manage to win by 7 in the end. A very close game between those sides. Oh, McKenzie is slow getting back to his feet. The last thing that the Chiefs want is some sort of injury for him getting towards the playoff games. Looks like a rough breakdown, but the Chiefs have ended up with the possession. There's Ratama, goes across into the pocket to find Sean Stevenson. Send it down the middle of the field. Nicely taken at the back for Hudson Creighton. Or Lawson, I should say. And near the touchline, well taken by Damien McKenzie. And they are better this season, the Crusaders, says William. Yeah, they've had their adjustment period. That last season to take them a little bit to get used to it. But now they are back to the Crusaders that everyone used to know. A little bit of a handling error there from Teddy Wilson, but he still manages to keep it alive. Gets it off to Rob Leota. And with a steal on the breakdown from Quintapai, just didn't quite have long enough arms to be able to stretch out. I'm back across to the right-hand side here. Creighton goes across that Callaway. Suali'i with the forward pass. They'll go back now for the scrum. The Chief says Tyrone. Of course, do let me know your score predictions. Anyone who hasn't already given one at this point. For me, I think it's going to be 60 points at least between these sides. Or at least I'd like to think it would be. It looks like a relatively dry day out there on the field. Pack weight's 925 kgs for the Chiefs compared to 974 of the Waratahs. So they've got a 51 kg advantage when it comes to scrum time. Waratahs by 5. Oh, so you're saying an upset and a second loss for the Chiefs over the season. Cortez Ratama ready to put the ball in for the Chiefs. That one's gone down in the front row, so we will have a reset. Historically, who is better between the Waratahs and the Chiefs? Very good question. I'm not actually sure of the historic head-to-head off the top of my dome. 36 points to 26, says Polly Guy. Bushwhacker Crocodile Dundee, says Ruth. All right, referee just asking for height. Bit of stability too. Chiefs so far this year have won 96% of their scrums. They've won 11 penalties from said scrum, so 25% of the time, in fact, a little bit higher than that, probably 30% of the time, they do get themselves a scrum penalty when they feed the ball in. Chiefs 45, New South Wales 29, says Glenn. Oh, and they are going to get themselves the penalty now. Loose head, head and shoulders, not a sponsor. That is going to go against Angus Bell in this case. Well, they do have the option of being able to kick this one towards the touchline. I think they were going to give the ball to Josh Jacob, but he says give it to McKenzie for him to be able to find the touchline. A decent kick in the end. It will get them to around maybe 40 metres out. The opposition line, yeah, unfortunately for Angus Bell, just ended up slipping off the shoulder there. And it, honestly, it's one of those ones, either way, either side could have got the penalty. You can ring my bell anytime, says Ruth. And there. Doesn't having your bell rung mean like getting like rocked? Like, so, as in like getting hit? I go for a tie for this game, 17 each, says Xander. Now, I was trying to go for golden point in the last game, and I thought my prediction wasn't going to be a mile away. But sadly it was. In the end, Hurricanes just not able to score. Everyone think, no, Amish. And moving on, says Sebastian. And 26-44 for the Chiefs. Wonder if Chiefs focused on defence after last week's studs race. Josh Jacob. The ball on the inside goes off to Leroy Carter. Moving up to 40 metres out. The Waratahs looking good at the moment defensively. And that's the thing. The Tars will also be focusing on what they can do to stop the opposition from scoring more points, because Moana Pacifica 38 points in one half was absolutely brutal. I ring my bell, making me happy, says Ruth. I get you. The Tars must have watched Blinky Bill before the game. Nice passing. Going off to Ollie Norris. Jacob Tupavai across to McKenzie. He goes for the little grubber. Going to sit up and gnaw. It was almost nicely taken by Creighton. It looks like he might have ripped to be honest, a testicle the way that he's walking there at the moment. That does not look comfy for that man. Now they're doing the reverse and forward in terms of the slow-mo shots of him. Right, they found the right angle this time, but McKenzie just trying to get it out to Summer Penny Finau. The bounce was steep, and might have got a knee to the gonads. Which wouldn't have felt too nice. I ring a bell, so you're a man all this time, says Xander. There was an 80s disco hit called Ring My Bell. Google it, says Ruth. Ring My Bell. Who was Ring My Bell by? I can't think of many people from the 80s in terms of singers. I should be able to think of more. The only one I could think of was Wham for Ring My Bell. Oh, that's going to be knocked to the side here. Josh Jacob picks it up, goes off the Summer Penny Finau, sells the dummy and carves through. So about 15 metres out. All in off his feet was Joey Walton. Inside ball from Quintal Pire. Now Ratama. Across. Still in a good position on the field here. The Chiefs. George Dyer tied up. His legs from Dobbins. Is my good feeling, says Ruth. Oh, and the penalty does go the way of the Waratahs. It's going to be Dobbins who comes up with it. And a good tackle just before. And another one there. That's the thing. For the Waratahs, they just can't let the Chiefs get that early momentum. Anita Ward. I was about to say she's not the one from New Zealand, is she? But that's Anita something. I can't remember her last name. You have to understand, Ruth, to a comment like that there will be a sensible interpretation and a bloke interpretation, says Sebastian. And Mabel, you can ring my BEL, one of those songs that get in your head. Surely it's sung better than I just sung it, / talked it. I think if in the middle of the song it goes, yeah, it probably won't catch on as much. Nicely taken. And the line out for Charlie Gamble. This time it was actually Rob Leota. Those two ran the wrong way. Joey Walton runs it hard. Ollie Norris. First song that came up on YouTube was Ring My Bells, Enrique Iglesias. Says Xander, what's your prediction? This will be a tough game to call. Like, the Chiefs come in as favourites. He's kicked it out on the full there, Sean Stevenson. And the Waratahs are a side that have conceded a lot of points, but have scored quite a few themselves. So if they find a rhythm early, they'll be in this. But if they make a few early errors, it's when it gets a little bit more challenging for them. Although so far, I think both sides have made their fair share. That was not a straight line out from the Waratahs, but the referee has let it slide. Langy Gleeson to cut back in, and he is tackled by Luke Jacobson. All charged down. Joey Walton then knocks the ball on. Referee said play on, which it shouldn't have been because there was a clear knock on, was there not? Unless they're trying to say it was charged down, then he dropped it, picked it back up, and then we're just still going. What up? Pick this game instead of the Ronks versus Chooks. Let's go Chiefy, says Sam. All in position of the Waratahs now, going back across to the right-hand side. Lalakai for Kitty. Quick answer on Joseph Sualei. Gets it on the outside to Andrew Callaway. This is a massive chance. Looking for the offload. Sits up for Sualei. Offloads again to Teddy Wilson. They will score it. Making the most of the opportunity there, the Waratahs, and they will score first in this contest. God, says Sam. It is a good try. It's a little bit risky at times. I'm just going to have a quick look at this Joey Walton situation that did happen. See whether or not I was just seeing things. I will be happily wrong if I was. And try time for the Tars, great play. Here's Matthew, and yes, Suali'i getting involved. Check that knock on, says Sam. Is that actually what they're checking for now? We're going to see the replay. I've gone back to it just to check it. I feel like I'm the TMO now. Okay, it took too long, so we're just going to go back to see it live anyway. Oh, my Tars are running the ball. Right, here we go. Joey Walton kicks it. It bounces back, hits him in the hands. He clearly knocks it on twice. And then it was play on. I don't know how 3 referees and a TMO up till that point missed that, as they don't get much clearer than that one. There's going to be no try. Will not stand. Yes, no try, says Novmum. Yeah, I was questioning myself. I had to go back to try and check it just to make sure. No try, cut it out, says Sam. But yeah, I couldn't work it out. That game have any spectators? Says Val. There's a few in the stands. It's not looking too bad, to be fair. Or at least in the area that I just saw. A great call, Hamish. How do they not call that at the time, says Studs Race? Yeah, I guess they were going benefit of the doubt, trying to keep it playing. But yeah, it looked like not only one knock on from Joey Walton, but then the second one when he was trying to regather his original knock on. And the power of a bribe, says Sebastian. Now 10 minutes into this contest, and it will be the scrum feed here for the Chiefs. My cat is the Waratahs attack coach. He's the man who masterminded Ireland winning the series against New Zealand in 2022. I don't know why, but I thought that was like a fake name. Maybe it is, to be fair. But now off to the right-hand side, Quintupai, good tackle on him by Creighton, who was a little bit... All right, we're back. Hello, everyone. I don't know what happened to the Wi-Fi there, but the question was, are there any Sevens games this weekend? No. The next ones will be early May when they're going to be taking place. Now, nice step out wide for Quintupai. And picked up by Rob Leota. We got another knock on, though, here, so we will go back for the scrum yet again. Mike Hatt is the guy that no longer ran over in 1995 World Cup, says Glenn. That's a real name, says Demon. You don't know Mike Hatt. Anytime I say it, it just sounds like it's one of those fake ones. Your face with the screen froze was funny. It probably, like, the thing is, I think the coverage, or at least my Wi-Fi, probably cut out maybe slightly quicker for me than it did for you guys. So I probably made the face of being confused at why there was no Wi-Fi. And the 1995 Rugby World Cup, the England team included Mike Hatt at fullback. See, I can't read it like in a series. I'm gonna Google him quickly. He is a South African. Yeah, he's a real guy. But I just read that name every time, and I just keep on thinking of the fake names that are like to try and get you to say something, although that would be a pretty timid one if it was one. Now scrum fee for Cortez Ratama, 25 metres out. I find it funny how Andy Farrell didn't improve Mike Catt to be, or approach Mike Catt to be attack coach of the Lions. Disappointed that Mike didn't get picked. Now 25 metres out, Summer Penny fee now, I should say. Now Samasoni Tolkiaho. Either of these sides. I mean, we saw the one try, but it was not a try. It was disallowed. The Rugby World Cup 2003 winner as well. So one more than Lomu got. Says studs raised. Nicely claimed at the back from Joseph Suali'i after the Chiefs once again attempted the kick through. Big attacking run forward from Tristan Riley. So kicking the ball away, D-Mac. Says studs raised. Langy Gleeson is just outside of the 22, which does mean that this one cannot go out on the full. They're going to be told, do you use it? Simon Parker puts up one hand. Kenzie back there. Oh, what a shot that is. Flying through was Ethan Dobbins. It's going to be play on. This is a 50-22, I believe. Is it a 50-22 if he hasn't kicked it from his hands, but instead kicked it from the ground? Yes, it is. And the Waratahs now with themselves a line out. Since Mike stopped being the Irish attack coach, Ireland attack has gone backwards, says Demon. Yeah, that is a good kick. Downfield from Teddy Wilson. Like I said, not on purpose per se of a 50-22. I think he wanted to keep that ball in the field of play. Mike Cat also played for our Lions and the Pumas, says Xander. Did he actually? And good game so far, says Sam. That's going to be nicely taken. Oh, loose ball, Sinclair. Going to be cleaned up by Adamson now, though. Now Walton, 30 metres out. Already 15 minutes into this contest, and it has been back and forth. No one able to get that all-important try as of yet. Dobbins. 30 metres from the line, back across to the right. Creighton. Going now, Suali has a bit of a fumble with the ball, but he does manage to keep it alive. Goes off to Joey Walton. And there, the Reds coach will be the Wallabies coach, I think. So that is Les Kiss. Oh, nice run from Angus Bell. Offloads it now up. They're 10 metres from the line. Grant. It's a little bit closer. Langy Gleeson tried to pick it up. The referee said it's gone backwards, which means that he has missed it completely. But someone who didn't miss the ball was Simon Parker. Manages to win the penalty for his side. And Teddy Bear Wilson. Mike Cat can ring my bell anytime. Mike the Cat was quite good looking, says Ruth. McKenzie. That ball into touch, about 35 out. I think your FTAR's bringing it. Says Sam. Yeah, they're certainly throwing everything at this Chiefs side. Although my biggest concern, once again, would be what happened in their game up against the Hurricanes as well as Moana Pacifica. They start fast, they look strong, and then something happens. And they all of a sudden hit a brick wall and end up conceding. Oh, that was an ugly one for Dobbins trying to slide through, make the tackle, but Samapeni Finau pretty close to the ground. Taokiaho pumping his legs. Now looks like Ratama's going to be rolling this one back to the try for the Waratahs not count. That's where I saw 5 points. So yeah, there was a massive, well, in fact, there were two big knock-ons before it. They said play on, they scored, and then the TMO got involved and went back. Oh, bit of a rough pass from Samapeni Finau. Ball just running from McKenzie. It's going to be another knock-on. Little bit of pressure here on the Chiefs fullback. And to be fair, he hasn't been playing a lot of fullback this season. He's found himself in that fly half role. I've decided to make the switch here so that Jacob gets some game time at 10. Which brought Stevenson out to the wing. It's a lot of a big reshuffle, really, for this Chiefs back line. Chiefs in basketball mode. There's Suds raised and McKenzie disappointed with that one by the looks of it. Just a little bit of medical attention coming now for, that is Daniel Bota. Both sides having a bit of a drinks break too. Like I said, quick tempo that they have started this game at. We have got 3 matches tomorrow as well that we are covering, ladies and gents. Those matches will be Moana Pacifica versus the Blues. We will get to see Fijian Draw versus the Highlanders, and then Reds versus Brumbies. Following those games, I'm going to be covering Bulls versus Edinburgh, as well as Munster versus Bordeaux. And just to add a little bit more on top of that, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. New Zealand time, we are doing Leinster versus Glasgow. So that is in about 9 hours' time. And that match will be taking place. We will be running slightly short on sleep, but I am used to it. What's the general consensus about the TMO lately? Still 100% hatred? Depends. Like, the saddest thing about the TMO is depending on which side you're going for and whether you've been wronged by it or you are happy with the decision, seems to heavily affect people's opinions, and it can change week to week. It's a little bit similar to the referee, how when it helps you out, it's good, but when it doesn't and it costs you, people don't like it. But I think there's still consistency that can be developed for the TMOs. I think they're a little bit similar to the refs on the field, how, quite a bit slips past them sometimes. They just have to try their best to find some sort of, I guess, middle ground so that they're not stopping the game every 5 seconds and then also still keeping something going. Hi, says it's in run there. Welcome in. Which will be excited for the Highlanders playing tomorrow up against the Fijian Roar. It'll be a tough game down in Dunners. And off to the right-hand side now, moving up to 22 metres out, getting flat in there with Simon Parker and got his head sat on as well. Now off to the right-hand side. Going to Suali'i with a nice step, trying to get round to Pai. He's going to get close to the line. No chance that he should have been able to score it, but he does. Just goes straight through Suali'i and having a big impact already throughout the first 19 minutes of this match. I reckon there, Rob McQueen. I was the best Wallabies coach ever. What he did from 1999 to 2001 was incredible. The Wallabies were the best team in these 2 years in the world. Says Demon. Or if Mike Cat is still doing roly-polies with superstar rugby players on the field. Says Jason. Yeah, he had 3 men who should have been able to take him down. Josh Jacob, I'm not sure what he was up to. He was just watching it. Maybe in awe. Quinto Pye missed the first initial hit. Leroy Carter tried to slow him down. And they just left Suali'i far too much space. It gives the Waratahs now the lead in this contest. We get a lot of bell ringers family in the chat today. Says Xander. Shirt makes you look very handsome, says Imran. I'm just hoping that you can't see the stain on the arm from when I had my golf clubs lying over it. We have the quarter of the game gone, and my prediction is all up the river, says Glenn. Yeah, this game's been lower scoring than I thought it would be, if I'm being honest. I thought we would have seen more tries scored early, but then saying that, both sides have conceded quite a few points throughout the second half, so there's still time. And no, says Novmum. And we have got there Suali'i too strong. Hope Manu's like this. Says Sam, nicely taken by Langy Gleeson, 25 metres out from their own line here. Wonder who it's going to be for the Chiefs that can really step up here and start to get them in the right direction. Apparently, they've had a few mistakes made. That is another one there from Leroy Carter, which is now going to be a Waratahs quick throw. They will go off to the left-hand side. So busy that I haven't been. I had a chance to join many live streams these days. There's some run that's close to the sideline, getting him rampling, almost gets him out. And that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Waratahs. The crowd are loud at Allianz Stadium. They're happy with that decision. And 45-29. I reckon how many times in the stream can you make Avish blush? What were your golf clubs doing on your shirt? I was carrying them. Which I guess in the way that I worded it, it sounded weird. But yeah, I just had my golf bag over my shoulder. And I decided to wear a white shirt because obviously you're not going to get dirty playing golf. Little did I know. Who got winning first half, says Adrian. It's a tricky one because you'd think it would be the Tars because they're up by 7. But the Chiefs are the type of side that can score 2 quick-fire tries, but they've got to get some ball. At the moment, the Tars are being very smart the way that they're playing. Here comes Tristan Riley with a wide cutout pass. Goes to Andrew Callaway. Tackled near the touchline. Counter ruck coming from the Chiefs, and that's going to be a knock-on from the Waratahs. Then lead to the scrum. And we have got, who do you think is going to be a Wallabies bolter for this year? See, there are a couple guys that I think I wouldn't consider bolters, but I do think have done enough to get in there, and that's the likes of Carlo Tazzano. I think will definitely be in that environment again, even though they've got quite a few great options in the loose forward trio. I mean, a couple locks are doing all right at the moment, and they will have to look for those next guys after the experienced heads of the likes of Skelton's now kind of moved on out of the equation. So Aliti is about to, says Sam. And also, come on, Chiefy boys. Says, well, there now passed off to Quinn Tupaia. 40 metres out from their own line now. Jacob will kick it down the middle of the field again, going for quite a kicking orientated one. Josh Canham is the one you're thinking of, Demon. Yeah, he's looking good at the moment. Now, Cortez Ratama runs across the tackle. Tristan Riley driving towards the sideline. The halfway line now, 22 minutes in at the moment. Almost went through was Lawson Creighton. Did you go golfing today? I did indeed, with my mum. Now 40 metres out from the line, Lengy Gleeson, pick and go. Off to the left. Callaway, good shot on him and slammed down to the turf by Gideon Rampling, and he still managed to make metres in the process. Gleeson. Let's go, the Chiefs, says Gabriel. To the right again, Gordon. Sorry, not Gordon. Teddy Wilson, I should say. I'm so used to seeing Jake Gordon in their 9 jersey, but of course now Teddy Wilson getting that chance. Goes your mum. She is good. She played decent golf, I will say. Much better golf than myself. I think she'll be relatively happy with how it went. Langy Gleeson. Another tackle made. Caleb Boshier. Off to the left-hand side, Joey Walton goes through. He had Tristan Riley with him. Now finds the offload to him. Big shot from Summer Penny Finau, but he actually drove him over the line. And another try now for the Waratahs. 2 up in the early stages, but after last week, it's just a wait-and-see scenario. All right, Blues. Where's Jake? He's overseas playing. Says Blues, Nate. And far out, what is your handicap? I am not actually sure what my current one would be. I have one from like 2 years ago, but it still was based off when I was like 16 or so. Some of those rounds were still counting, but I'm probably mid-20s. Maybe a bit better if I try a bit harder. But yeah, I haven't been playing enough full rounds. Anytime I go golfing with George or any other Kiwi lads, normally we only get 4 holes in, then they are normally sick of it. Sorry, Chiefs fans, I put you in my multi, says Studs Race. And Chiefs, what you doing? Come on. Says, was there from Novmum. A chance here to kick this one for Lawson Creighton. And it's going to make the score now 14-0. That's a big one at the moment, the start that they have been able to have. But can they continue it for the full 80? We have seen the Tars score many tries before. In fact, we can see it in terms of the table. The way that it sits, the Waratahs, they've got a minus 47 points differential. Most of those came from their game up against the Hurricanes a couple weeks ago. But they've scored a lot of points. Boshier actually on the field for Parker as well, I should mention. I never really said who Boshier was on for. I just said that he was on. I'm glad to know your mum still beats you at golf. It's best to keep it that way, I would say. It just keeps everything a lot more friendly. Plus, she's very competitive. So if I won, it'd be a quiet car ride home. Chiefs skip training this week or something, says Will. The Blues lose to Pacifica tomorrow. That's their season done, says Damon. Yeah, it'll be a long way towards it. They cannot afford too many more losses. Big shot on Damian McKenzie. Now Ratama. Going off to the right-hand side. Simisoni Taukiaho. Ball is there, says Angus Maybe. He's number 1 on the log, but playing poorly so far today, says Xander. Yeah, they haven't found their stride at all. Oh, it's another mistake made by the Chiefs, which does bring the Waratahs another counter-attacking chance. Beautiful, quick hand. Suali'i. A lot of space to work with. Tristan Riley. Great low tackle made by Josh Jacob. Blue season is over then. Says Drape. Spinning there was Ethan Dobbins. Well, moving forward. Back off to the right-hand side. Joey Walton goes to Bell. 10 metres out from the line, and another opportunity comes for the Waratahs. If they score now, they're actually in a situation of a bonus point. But, of course, that can all change in an instant. They would be 3 or more tries ahead of the Chiefs. Dobbins looked like he was in slow motion in that case. Now Teddy Wilson goes across to Angus Bell, who tries to zero at the moment in the Tahs' favour. Could this be number 3? Passed out to Andrew Callaway. Stevenson tries to stop him. Nice offload to Lalokai Foketi, who still scores the try, even though he was getting driven into touch. And that is the 3rd try now for the Waratahs. I'm hopeless at golf. I couldn't play it to save myself, and I think the Blues, though, will bounce back tomorrow, especially if Barrett, with Barrett being fit. First try of the season for Lalokai Kitty. This is just the Suoliti masterclass at the moment. That man's at over 100 metres, I would say, by this point in the matchup. But then just really good decision-making from the Tahs right next to the sideline and then popping it back inwards. And then that is a great finish, but they may want to check this one quickly just to make sure that he did get the grounding. Oh, that's close. We haven't got a great angle of it just at this point. Right. His body was in the air. Oh, I think he's grounded it. He almost ended up dropping that ball. I think that's going to be fine. Oh, no, time is off. They're going to be checking this one. Maybe there was a knock-on from Lalakai Fageti. And if it is, that would be the 2nd knock-on. Looking for a simultaneous grounding now. So Tupavai came flying in, put in a big shot, but it actually pushed him towards the try line. Right, there's no separation, but that is right on the touch line. What team do you think is the best run to the playoffs from here? I'm sure the Blues could have the toughest, I've been informed. Oh, okay, it was simultaneous with the touchline and the in-goal area, so they've called it no try for Lalakai Foketi. I'll be a bit disappointed with that, the Tahs, because that was once again another very impressive play, pretty much going about 60 metres. Yeah, the crowd aren't going to like that one. And to be fair, they probably have a decent argument for it. It could have gone either way. Okay. From that angle, okay. So the commentator has just said he's pretty much praised the TMO and said he's one of the best around, but he doesn't agree with that decision because if the ball's round, it means that it can't be simultaneous. But the ball's not completely round, is it? It's a bit of an oval. Still probably a bit unlucky though. Counter ruck coming here from the Chiefs, and they managed to get the steal play, and the 9 will go against Lalokai Foketi. So he's gone from scoring a try to now giving away the penalty. It came from another bad kick, FYI. Says Studs Ray. As an All Blacks fan, it feels funny getting TMO calls go your way. New territory, says Sam. And someone deliberately moved the flag post. No try, says Blues Nate. Oh, hasn't found touch though from the Chiefs. Made another mistake here. I think the Chiefs are going to come to regret putting McKenzie at 15. The way that I look at it is he was going well at 10. Last week was a bit of an exception just because there wasn't too many times that the Chiefs were hugely smooth up against the Reds. The weather didn't help though, of course, but it's one of those situations that by making the switch, it seems like it's thrown off the whole dynamic of this Chiefs backline. Nice run forward from Luke Jacobson. Beautiful pass to Leroy Carter, who will score, but they want to check that last pass. But I believe Jacobson is claiming it. So is Leroy Carter there. Right, the crowd are booing, so I think they will go upstairs to check this one. Simultaneous grounding is not a try, is what they are talking about there. So the fact that the Waratahs aren't asking, see, that's pretty flat. If not, maybe drifting a little bit in the opposite direction. Right, this angle will show it, hopefully. Yeah, I don't think he got his hand back enough. So I think this one's going to be going back as well here. We're going to have 3 disallowed tries within the first 32 minutes. Line ball says Sam. Seems like they are. Yeah, they are happy with it. Proud or not. But that's going to make the score now 14 points to 7. And bloody hell says, well, try is good. Says Nov Mum. I think Jacobson, in that case, because he hasn't. See, it's not awful. It could have been worse, that pass. But I think it was the fact that he didn't look like he purposely tried to direct the hands backwards that made it look like it was like flat at best. It's on the scoreboard, says Glenn, and yes, says Wafer. That's now going to make the score 14 points to 7. And, oh, that's a good kick. Downfield from Josh Jacob. If you're Leroy and the Carter clan, says Drape. Now 9 minutes left in this first half. First half's gone very quick, I will say. We're already almost halfway through it. Yeah, the Waratahs, they'll be a bit frustrated because they were close to scoring down the other end, and now the Chiefs got back into it, and there's a potential chance that they could go 14-14 at halftime. The pride of the Tauranga, says Glenn Woods. RF's not too concerned about straight line-out throws, says Studs Rays. Yeah, I've noticed that too. There's been a couple that haven't looked the greatest. Taken on by Wilson. I'll take him by Sean Stevenson. Well, therefore, Ratama around the halfway line. Norris. The Chiefs are making a lot of their meters actually with their forwards here. Looks like now Ratama is going to roll it back. He's saying, I want a box kick, but there's an Angus Bell in my way. Now kicked him by high. Nicely taken just outside of the 22 from Lawson Creighton. Oh, fell the wrong way there. Almost ended up the interception. Another good tackle made. The Chiefs' defence, they've been told to use it, and Teddy Wilson will oblige, and he is again going to be going to the sky. Summer Penny Finau tried to get the charge down, wasn't able to do so, being chased by Langy Gleeson. Good shot on Sean Stevenson again. Although he ended up face planting the ground trying to join the breakdown. Jacob goes across the Quintupai and behind to McKenzie, looking for a gap. Well defended by Joey Walton. And bloody hell just got back in. You're on again. Says Fleshington. Yeah, we've got quite a few more coming up this weekend. I think we've got 7 more rugby union matches that I am planning on covering. Lawson Creighton knocking it on under the high ball. He's not happy at all. Yeah, the next one that we've got is Leinster versus Glasgow in the Champions Cup quarter-final. Then we've got the 3 games of Super Rugby back-to-back-to-back, or at least that is the plan anyway. And then we've got the matchup happening between will be Edinburgh and the Bulls. Okay, the commentators are still looking at that try that was disallowed for the Waratahs. He's still kicking fleshing. Says Drape. Kick meters almost up to 300 here. Need 2 more Chiefs tries for halftime. Another penalty goes their way, and perhaps the kick for the corner is there, or maybe even just 3 points. Back into it a bit more, but I think they will be looking for the 7 if they can. That's all really great to watch when he's running with the ball, says Glenn. Yeah, just seems to have so much time when he has got the position. Him versus Will Jordan, if he's playing fullback, it's going to be a pretty good one. In fact, if those two sides, have they already played or are they playing in the future? We'll go here. Right, they're playing on the 16th of May. That will be one to watch for, because if it's Suaalii versus Jordan, that's going to be quite entertaining. That's going to be overthrown from the Chiefs, so maybe taking the 3 would have been the better option. Waratahs back in possession, passing it out wide to Creighton with the inside ball, a little bit high from Gideon Rappling. Suaalii stood up as if he wanted to. In hockey, you would have the gloves come off and they would start punching each other. A kick downfield, dropped by McKenzie at the back again. Lack of concentration from the Chiefs fullback, but they are going back, are they? Checking this one for Gideon Rappling's no arms. And D-Mac having a rough one. Like I said, he was playing well at 10. Then they've gone and switched him. The whole back line seemed to be all sorts of muddled. I didn't actually realise that Jacob Netkins was possibly looking at having retired due to severity of his neck injury. Will be great buzz when he runs out tomorrow, says Jason. So there's a slight attempt to wrap from Gideon Rappling, but not a huge one. That is going to be more than likely a yellow card by the looks of the referee. He is reaching into his pocket. Anyone want to put the house on the task? I got you. There's Mr. All-In, so it is an on-field review. I think Gideon Rappling's working on the theory that if he stays in the team huddle, he doesn't have to go off the field. But now he's done the, me? Where's Josh Jacob? He's had a couple good moments, Jacob, but yeah, it just seems to be... See, he catches him on the chin there, Suali'i, from that angle, or Rappling, I should say. So depending on what angle the TMO looks at this at, could be maybe a yellow upgraded to a red. Can I take back that clearly shoulder to the chin, says Studs Ray. And it was just it was. There was no need for it from Gideon Rappling. Was he dropping? No, not really. He's probably in trouble. This game is not good for my heart, says Knob Mum. That one does go into touch. Now 5 minutes remaining in this first half. Suali'i. But yeah, the way that he got hit on the jaw, he kind of just stood still and went, why'd you do that? Rather than continuing running the ball or anything, just stood there, went, strange. And then just kept playing. Intent? There was intent. I think that was a sign of a bit of frustration from the Chiefs and from Gideon Rappling. Going, Suali'i's broken through all of our tackles, and he went, let's see if he can break through this shot to his chin. But now, more than likely, the only break we're going to see is Gideon Rappling, because he's probably going to get a couple weeks off. It's a double chin. Shouldn't be counted. Says TH. How did you hit a man who's 6'4"? Do you have dollars on this? Then me. Oh, that's a nice run forward from Grant again. Almost a turn away, and it is for Cortez Ratima. Frustration good to look at. The great thing about New Zealand rugby is we always beat the unbeatable. Beat the beatable. Good night. I'm going to listen to my rap. Sleep. It's an interesting one to listen to rap before bed. I haven't tried it personally, but wouldn't that get you all fired up and then it make it hard to sleep? Like most people listen to soothing noises of the forest or cars going past. Yours is just a little bit of Eminem, just rapid firing words at you, talking about his mother's spaghetti. That will make you hungry more than anything, I would think. Now, Simasoni Tolkiaho. Ready for this line out throw. Nice Cortez, says Rodney. And it was almost stolen fingertips away for Rob Leota, whose knees looked like they took a little bit longer to find their way back intact. Quintal up to the halfway line. The Chiefs, even though they are down a man, could find themselves sitting at 14-14 at halftime if they are able to capitalise and score points. Although if they're in a good enough position, perhaps they would just consider the 3. This one. There's a Ratima. It's a high Quintal looking for the ball. He actually ran past it, which was interesting. I think 2 Chiefs players both looked at the ball when he's probably going to win the aerial battle, being the TARS player, so neither bothered going for it. Teddy Wilson kicks it downfield with another box kick taken by Jacob McKenzie. Drops the ball again. Now, it was a terrible pass from Josh Jacob, but slips through the fingers again. And down to man. Google needs to update. Show the colours, says Mr. Orland. And Harris, that's what you call a chin rotter. And TARS back 3 reception has been fantastic. Right, they've said the shift in dynamic is why it will stay as a yellow card. Pretty lucky, though, I would say, for Gideon Rappling there, as there was intent to try and hurt him. Jeez, will be have a good talking to at halftime. One of my best rugby moments, remember, was when Tony Daly, TARS prop ran 40 metres to score the winning try. I was years ago. There's Glenn. And lucky fella, says Studs Ray in there. Yeah, so the factor that they said was the mitigation of directional change is what it is. So he'll be back in 7 minutes' time. D-Mac fullback not working. Well, he was working fine at 10. Like, yes, they wanted to find a way of getting Josh Jacob in, but I do still think it's the same with Stevenson. Stevenson's been shut down every time he touches the ball. He was playing better at fullback, but they just decided, you know what? It's only the Tars, and the Tars at the moment are beating them by 7. Is there anyone that come on for the great D-Mac? They don't need to switch him per se. They just need to reshuffle their backline back to the way that they normally would have it. Now, I'm going to go off to the right-hand side here. Now, not Creighton. It's going to be kicked in a touch by the Tars. Only 4 seconds remaining. But yeah, in terms of the benches, like they've got Imoni Narawa, they've got Daniel Rona. So I would say, like, it's unfortunate for Josh Jacob, but the most likely thing to do would be to put McKenzie back to 10. But then at the same time, they might just go, he's having a poor game. We'll put Stevenson at 15. We'll stick Imoni Narawa out on the wing, which would also, I think, work relatively well. At the back have been great, and Chiefs have kept kicking it to them. Yeah, they've been giving them plenty of chances to be able to get an attack going. The ball's going to be put into touch by Kalen Boshier. And that's going to be halftime now in this contest. 14 points to 7. Did Boshier? Oh, no, he does kick it into touch. I thought for a second he had just passed it into touch, in which case I think it could have ended up being the penalty. But halftime in this matchup, 14 points to 7. The Tars have looked strong. The Chiefs have looked lackluster. And now 40 minutes remaining. But I hate to keep sounding like a broken record. But the Waratahs were leading by 14 last week. And they went on to lose by about that same margin. They only scored 7 points in the second half. Their opposition scored 38. D-Mac needs to inject, or needs advice from Hulk Hogan about injecting himself, says Jason. So faith in the boys, just need a kick in the backside at halftime. Wait for the bench to come on, says Rodney. And looking through at the bench for this Chiefs side. So they have got, like I mentioned, Imoni Narawa, Daniel Rona, and Xavier Rowe as their back replacements. Kalen Boshier already made his way onto the field. That was for Simon Parker, who did end up with an injury. They've got Slater, Prophet, O'Neill, and Naitoa Akoi. And for the Waratahs, Taniela Tupou off the bench, Amata Cero. They've got some decent options for the Waratahs as well. But the big factor at the moment is Joseph Suali'i just controlling this game from the back for the Waratahs. But the job is not done. They have to make sure that they close out with the win. This was last week's results. The Chiefs were actually pretty close to losing that game up until the last maybe 10 or so minutes. Then they fired up. Then they found their rhythm and they were able to win that game. But the Waratahs, it was the opposite. Their second half never fired, unfortunately for them. And Artie Savia and his Moana Pacifica boys started running through them. These are the matches that are taking place next week. The Waratahs will be away from home up against the Fijian draw in Fiji. And then for the Chiefs, they will be playing the Highlanders. That is the 7:05 p.m. kickoff on the Saturday. We've got there in the chat, Strong Chiefs 23. It's just there giving the ball to the Tars this 40, said Studs Race. And I'd like to think that that's something that the coach would look at and say, listen, boys, we need to hang on to it a little bit more rather than taking so many risks. Just get it in their hands, find a few passes, because their back line, it's not looking too bad. And the Waratahs are missing tackles. So they just need to keep that ball a little bit more, and they'll have a much better chance. Crusaders easy point against my Blues, says TH. And Ultimate Couch Ninja, says Shane. Roosters 8-0 up against the Bronx, says Sam. And there as well. All right, we will go like this. We will go like that as well. And Crusaders and Reds going for the Tars, says Annoy. And we've got 3 matches tomorrow as well for Super Rugby. So by the end of this round, we're at round 10 next week. It's the business end of the comp. Wins here get you into playoff matches. Losses here can mean that you miss out. Now, I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to miss out. They are currently sitting very nicely in the overall standings. But for a side like the Tahs, this win is crucial because they've got 6 games remaining after this one. Got some tough opposition in there. Got 3 games up against Aussie sides, which I would feel that they'll be slightly confident heading into. That last game up against the Blues, that might be a must-win for this Blues side, depending on how their matches go up till that stage. Just showing the games that are happening tomorrow. Blues versus Moana Pacifica is one of them. Fiji and Roa versus Highlanders is another. And then the matchup between the Reds and the Brumbies close out this round of Super Rugby Pacific. These are the matches for the Chiefs that are coming up in the future. Highlanders versus Chiefs next week. And then about 40 days after that one, they do play them again at the end of May before we get into the playoff games taking place in June, which will take the 3 weeks. Yeah, some tough games for the Chiefs from here. They've got 4 matches up against New Zealand sides, 1 up against Moana Pacifica, and then also they have got the Western Force. Waratahs are stronger at home, but maybe the energy levels will be depleted by the 4th quarter, says JT. And do you think the Chiefs will come back, says Luke? It's a tricky one because the Waratahs last week and their game up against the Hurricanes, second half they struggled. The guys, Chiefs guy deserve a red card for the high hit on Suali'i. Certain angles certainly made it look pretty bad. Like, he had no intent to try and hit him anywhere but high, which is a bit of a rough one, but he only got the yellow. And I mean, he'll be pretty happy. Okay, the commentators are still debating whether or not Lalakai Feketi's try was a try or not. They're talking about circumference of the ball and everything now. Okay, so the commentators are now saying because the try was awarded, if there's any doubt, should it have been an on-field try decision withstood. But I think that. Okay, one of the commentators just said, "Let it go, Nick," which is the name of one of the commentators. So he said we're sick of hearing about it. It is about the 4th time that we've heard it. I think this is what the young folks call cope. Says Studs Rays, what happened to the Canes game? Fell asleep. Close in the end. 2 yellow cards to the Crusaders near the end. Ended up making it a lot closer. And then in the end, the Hurricanes did lose by 7. So they still get the bonus point. I believe the Crusaders just get the 4 points from it. Psychology used in rugby. I've heard it all. Says TH. And we have got there, I just ate. I am ready to bag the URC. Says the rate. Well, luckily no URC this weekend. Is that the tall guy, Nick commentator? It is, I believe. I'm just not sure of that last name. In terms of, I assume one letter's gone wrong there maybe, and I can't think of what his name actually is. Aussie comms are just getting their excuses ready, says Rodney. Eden Park Thuds, you will not suffice. Is Mr. All In. Yeah, they are just talking about those Damian McKenzie errors. We've seen him drop the ball probably 4 times throughout that half, and that is just a little bit of pressure. Not really the type of performance you would like to see from him. Tahs are the far better team. Chiefs getting run of the green by the refs again. Chiefs have no chance of winning the comp. Says Dave. I mean, they've looked pretty good as a whole for this season, the Chiefs, definitely with the caliber of opposition that they have faced. The Warriors, don't get me wrong, have looked very strong at times too, but the second 40 is going to be so crucial for them because in the back of their minds, they'll be thinking through what happened their last 2 weeks. And both weeks, they've been in the competition at halftime just to let it fully slip away and opposition to beat them relatively comfortably by the final week. But Suali'i at the back has been looking outstanding. And as long as they can keep that momentum going, I see them getting a win here. Definitely if the Chiefs can't find their act and start to put things together, stop kicking the ball away to the opposition. D-Mac took an early hit. Hasn't been right all half. He was very slow getting up, wasn't he, from one of that? Well, I think it was only about 3 minutes in. Just talking about the Super Rugby Australia Women's Final, just about to take place. Super Rugby Pacific rugby is wide open this season. Great to see, says Studs Rays. Now, I think they mentioned earlier on that at about round 6, I think it was the first time since 1996 or something that we had every single side get a win at that stage of the competition. Now, of course, it's probably the lowest number of teams that we've ever had in Super Rugby that I can think of, but so New South Wales Waratahs versus Queensland Reds final for the women will be taking place tomorrow. I believe the Super Rugby Aupiki final is also happening for the New Zealand sides. And line success, 60% for the Waratahs. 7 turnovers conceded for both of these teams. Kick meter is actually relatively even, although the Chiefs have had about 25 more. Missed tackles, 18 missed by the Chiefs. That's the difference maker. 56 tackles made by the Waratahs compared to the 83 of the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have missed an extra 11. 3 steals in the breakdowns as well. Tackle completion rate only 73% at the top of the table. Oz, 7 side missing Kaslik. Says Rodney. I mean, they are to a certain extent, although there are still a lot of talented players coming up through the ranks for the Aussies, and I think Kaslik's now playing in that final tomorrow. Second half of this contest, I would say, is only about 2 minutes away. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe closer to the 5. 3 matches all taking place tomorrow. I can be hopefully covering all 3 of them on the channel. We have got about 11, 12 hours worth of talking. The voice might not be existing by the end of it. Kaslik is still recovering from our training session. There's Drake. And who Australia Super Rugby Women's Final? It is Waratahs versus the Reds. So it is that kind of state of origin rivalry, I guess you could say. They are just talking about the fact that Aupiki winner and the AU winner will play each other as well. So it'll be a nice game for a bit of Trans-Tasman rugby. Perhaps even Super Rugby Trans-Tasman for the women's side of things. Does come in at some point in the future. Just the 3 tries have been scored. Leroy Carter in the try for the Chiefs. Joseph Suali'i scoring for the Waratahs. And then also the other try was scored by... Who actually got the other try? I'm trying to think because there were about 4 disallowed in that first half. I know that Faketi didn't because his was disallowed. I believe Joey Walton, did he almost score one? Teddy Wilson, I think, would be the safe bet to say that he's scored, I think. We have hello, mate, joined from Fiji. What's your thoughts on Fiji and draw versus Highlanders tomorrow? Says Anaket, will be an interesting game down in Dunedin. Hopefully, we'll live up to the expectations. I know a lot of people are excited to see Timothy Tavatavanawai back in the centres. Take a Ratamaitapuki Nipkins back at 15 for the Highlanders too. And going up against Eloisa Celestino Ravatamanda and all those other great options in the Fijian Raw backline. It's going to be a good game, I hope. Are you going on to Straight Sports and 2 Cents podcast? Did I hear you say? Possibly. I've had the invite. It's just whether or not we can find a way of it working. I will have to get a flight up to Auckland if it is the case. I'm not actually too sure how far away from Auckland Tony is. I think he's a couple hours north, maybe. So, yeah, might be a bit of planning involved. It'll be a Ravatamanda show. Says Anaki, I'm washing. My washing is dry already. 3 hours in Cape Town sunshine. Says Ruth. We have good there. Are you by any chance getting advertising fees from both Puma and Pump? No money whatsoever. Which is rather unfortunate, you would think, definitely with how much water we've been drinking lately, and I guess how many shirts we've been wearing. Just because without a shirt, it would be a bit of a strange stream, I would say. We have good there, Big Balls Roof. Your countrymen need it. Says Mr. Allin. Yeah, second half, very close. Do let me know, ladies and gents, of the 3 matches happening tomorrow, which of the matches are you looking forward to the most? Is it Fijian Draw versus Highlanders, Moana Pacifica versus Blues, or Reds versus Brumbies? The good old Aussie derby taking place. It was my attempt at an Aussie accent, and I think I would have sounded more like an Aussie if I just talked normally. But yeah, will be an intriguing one. See which way it does end up going. There's also plenty of other things happening throughout the rugby world. We've got the Champions Cup that is going to be taking place. And also alongside that, there is also the Challenge Cup. Leinster Glasgow an option. We are going to be covering that one on the channel too. And I guess we'll let it slide. And we have got there, D-Mac never stays down for long, says Shane. Although ever since that early hit, he has looked a little bit shaky overall. So hopefully he's going to be all right to be able to continue. Now we have got there, can you please do more of an Aussie accent? I don't think the Aussies would like it too much. Is there a place to see it for free? Sadly, not hugely. Like Stan Sport free trial, you might be able to get away with, but it's a pretty tricky one because most of them are behind paid subscriptions, unfortunately. But yeah, it's definitely going to be on the YouTube channel, like as in the Super Rugby YouTube channel for the highlights. Balls all in, pumped up, ready for that scrum, says Roof, and I'll break your front row, Roof. Now, mate, you nailed that Aussie accent, says Glenn. I bet you would get a lot of Australian women with your Aussie accent, says Demon. I do doubt that, I'd say. Now, Damien McKenzie, he is still out there, and the second half now is going to be underway. I mean, these two sides, and the Chiefs looking to retain it, and the ball is loose, picked up by Tupou Vai, but it does look like it's on the side of the Waratahs. Yes, it is. Now, Wilson will go back across to Angus Bell. Hamish, just keep your Kiwi sexy accent. Here's Ruth. Now, Wilson. It's in behind again. This one going down towards the halfway line. McKenzie has taken it now. Tries to run the ball forward hard by Langy Gleeson. I mentioned there are still 5 minutes remaining of that yellow card for the Chiefs. Big run for from Leroy Carter in the end there to drag him down by his jersey. Tupou Vai. Trying to get the turnover there was Daniel Bota. McKenzie goes back across to Kalen Boshia. Maybe they got the wrong stream. Same as his OnlyFans account. Says TH now passed across Summer Sony. No, in fact, it's Summer Penny Now this time. Sean Stevenson tries the little kick. Leroy Carter kicks it into the shins of the Tars player, and it does bounce out. Chiefs will now have the line out. It was a little bit scrappy, but they got the result, I guess, that they were after, which is a line out in their favour. Here's D-Mac at 10, says Rodney and Giro. Hopefully the Chiefs will pick up in the second half after they got an ear bashing in the sheds. I stand in for Grant here, only if they are of a certain age, says Leshan. Off to the right-hand side, Samasoni Tolkiaho. Get that line-out throw right just before, which is something that Asafua Moore was struggling with in the game between the Hurricanes and the Crusaders. So maybe if he continues playing well for the Chiefs, he will move up the stocking list for the All Blacks. Now Tolkiaho with the ball in hand, 15 metres out from the line. Jacobson, he's got told that he held him in there. Cortez Ratama getting a breakdown on his back. There's going to be a new advantage now in favour of the Chiefs. George Dye goes off to Summer Penny now. Jacob playing halfback just for now while Ratama gets back to the breakdown. Cattle was big. Here's Mr. All around the side, 5 metres out from the line, close to the steal there for the Waratahs. It would have been, but it was already the penalty advantage. That means that they will go back for the penalty. And Luke Jacobson just saying there to the referee about the players rolling the wrong way. And then he is saying that pretty much what's happening is they're staying in there, and I think Jacobson's making the argument that they're not really trying to get out of there. Check the touch, says Novmum. And come on, Chiefs, says Drape. Oh, okay, that referee just sounded like a primary school teacher. He said, let's keep our hands to ourselves. Quite hard to do in a contact sport. Now, 10 metres out from the line, Cortez Ratama. Going off to the left-hand side, Quinn Fire. 10 metres from the line here for the Chiefs. Luke complains too much. Take it on the chin like Artie, mate. Says Mr. Orlin. Now Ratama. Across to the right-hand side. Summer Penny Fee now. Slowly building here. The Chiefs actually not looking too bad with just the 14 men on the field. Quintupaya moves within a couple metres again. Ratama, short side. 1 metre short of the try line. Around the side again, Hugh Sinclair, that's inches from the try line. Tupavai pointing. Oh, and it's a knock-on from the Chiefs. Now it looks like the Tars are going to go for a counter-attacking chance here. Andrew Callaway runs it up to the 22. Has Suali'i with him. They make 45 metres. Suali'i in the ears back. Ball on the inside. Beautiful work here from the Waratahs. That is probably close to try of the season. A full-length try from the Tars in front of a home crowd. And the crowd are absolutely loving it. 1 metre short of the line. Drops the ball. Waratahs, rather than just kicking that one into touch, they say, how about we just run this thing? Callaway got them to 40 out from their own line. Suali'i managed to run another 20, got the offload away, and 2 very strong offloads over the top. Clayton McMillan, that is a coach killer right there. And this hurts even more when they go the full length of the field and score. Suali'i just with his pace. It was a good low tackle by Callaway. But once again, just brilliant offloading. Kenzie not able to get that ankle tap. Clayton not happy. He is not happy one bit where to see the match. Stan Sport in Australia is your best bet. Try the SS Stuart Moore. And jokes aside, Chiefs are even up badly. Says Drape. And McKenzie just not quite getting there. Maybe if they had another man out there rather than the yellow card, it would have helped, but I'll be frustrated about that one. Ala Moana, I love it. But an Ethan brother, we live here. Sounds to me like an invitation to start the shoulder tackles flowing. Well, they tried a shoulder tackle and they got a yellow card for it. Ala Moana. And that's a killer, says Flesh. And yeah, to be 1 metre out from your opposition's line, to drop the ball and they go metres and score is not what the Chiefs needed in that situation. Now sitting 21 points to 7 down. They are back to 15. And Gideon Rappling has been told to stay off the field and they've decided to bring on Daniel Rona. Another turnover there. Leave the ball dropped by Caleb Moshia this time. Contagious. Kicked in behind. Chance for a 50-22. It will be just outside. Now 34 minutes remaining in this contest. Chiefs got to show something now. Says Studs Rays. Yeah, if they don't find some sort of rhythm or some way of shutting down this Waratahs backline, they will lose this game, and they may not even lose it by a small margin. So, plenty of work to be done here. At the moment, the Waratahs are only $1.50 favourites. Chiefs are $2.30. So that kind of tells you how they feel about the Tars later on in a contest. Try the season, Kiwis can't match it, says Dave Holmes. Yeah, I mean, not many sides get the chance to score a 100-metre try, do they? I love how rather than just praising them, you had to find a way of getting a dig in. I like it. Bit of rivalry there, building towards the Bledisloe. Now Suali'i on off to the left-hand side. Tristan Riley getting driven slightly closer to the sideline, and that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Chiefs. We'll have to look for that try on YouTube later, says Patrick. Absolutely, says Stuart. And Glenn, it sounds like Callaway. 47 minutes in. Chiefs might get thumped if they don't pull their fingers out, says Matthew. And try, says Aroof. And back to 15, says Studs Race. Speaking of 15s, Damien McKenzie. He has mistouched today once. Season not over. You ain't seen nothing yet, says TH. Chiefs are gone. Tars are on a roll now. Yeah, like momentum. I will say that turnover definitely helped the Chiefs just feel like they can find some sort of structure. But momentum before them was looking all the way of the Tars. Oh, Cortez Ratama goes back across to the left-hand side to Quinn Tupaya. Getting hotter now, says Ruth. And for the ball again, the referee says it is usable. Samba Penifee now puts it in behind to McKenzie, finds Sean Stevenson. He hasn't enjoyed being out on the wing this game. Mackenzie hasn't enjoyed being at fullback. Made those 2 changes so that they can get Josh Jacob in the team, although he was such an impact player last week off the bench. It should have been the way they kept it. Stars defense has been on point most of the games since Studs race here. They've made very little errors. Mackenzie trying to kick him behind, and it has gone straight into the hands of the Tars. We'll now look for a 50-22 of their own. It is covered by Leroy Carter, though. In fact, this time it is Josh Jacob who'll try and run this one forward. Shut down by Tristan Riley. Covered about 30 metres to get to him. Now interception pass almost right. Picked up by Leroy Carter, though. He's got the pace, gets through. That man was in front. I believe it would have been Daniel Rona, but it's a penalty. Late hit on the kicker, so that might have saved them a little bit because I feel like maybe Daniel Rona was in front of Leroy Carter. Stop kicking the ball, D-Mac, and pretty good Ruth. Says Stuart Moore. We're going to see it here, just chipping it in behind, and just cleaned up there, Leroy Carter. Oh, yeah, he got cleaned up pretty well, to be fair, by Creighton. He didn't mean it. He got sorry, that was my bad. Last 5 penalties have gone against the Waratahs. Their discipline's starting to fade. Well, their stamina as well. Number 10 for the Chiefs is not firing, says Sam. Oh, I've just heard number 10. Is that Josh Jacob being taken from the field? I believe it will be. Yes, it is. Josh Jacob off. Amoni Narawa on. Mackenzie will take the fly half roll. Sean Stevenson to 15, I would assume. So this will now, I believe, be what they should have started with. Oh, took a long time to get him down, but it's going to be the advantage now in favour of the Chiefs again. Sabasoni Tolkiaho just out from the line. I was looking for the steal. I mean, his knee was down. They are still under penalty advantage. Chiefs will win. Others, they just effing around, says Drake. Defense coming from the Waratahs again. Lingy Gleeson told to retreat just that little bit further. That is in front. That's kind of obstruction there from Dodd. And it's going to be held up. They will go back for the original penalty. In fact, sorry, that was Ruben O'Neill who was in front. And D-Mac going back to 10 also helps my fantasy, says Sean. Here comes the comeback. Go the Chiefs, says Stuart Moore. Waratahs, that is now 6 in a row against them. Finally, something getting done right for the Chiefs, says Glenn. Although every time they are close to the try line, they have blown the opportunity. Ratama. So they have got some sort of plan here for the quick dab going across to Sama Penny now. Again, they have to attempt to slightly roll there, the Waratahs. They just lie on the Chiefs' side of the breakdown. And I think that, I mean, Jacobson mentioned it earlier on. He's probably got a point because I'm seeing it more and more in the second half now, how they just lie there, no attempt to get out of there. It's been costing the Chiefs that quick ball that they are looking for. So I guess it's the perfect tactic, not a legal one, but perfect if you don't get caught. D-Mac back to 10 for 40 minutes, too late, G's. Says TH now getting closer to the line here for the Chiefs. Only a couple metres out of Moni Narawa. Another advantage for offside against the Tars. They may be in trouble here. 29 minutes still on the clock. That's a long way to go on this contest. Summer Penny now is over. And the Chiefs score themselves the try. Waratahs taking their opportunity. D-Mac should have started at 10, says Roof. And here comes the comeback. Go the Chiefs, says Stuart. And Chiefs will make the top 6 most definitely. And finally something getting done right for the Chiefs, says Glenn. And try time ugly, but it's 5 points, says Sam. And they will be looking to make it the full 7 here too. Going off to Summer Penny now. And from that close to the line, he just bulldozes over. And Boo moves next, says Roof. And Chiefs finally score, says Matthew. No clear knock on, and the try is good. I'm stuck on D-Mac at 15. Don't see him at 10, though. Says Mr. All-In. Although I do think he is, at the moment, playing as a much better 10. And I think this game kind of proved it. But, yeah, like, he is still, don't get me wrong, he's had an off day, and he probably would have, whether he was 10 or 15. But they just had a good backline, the Chiefs, and they decided to try and reshuffle it. And I think they learned there, for the first 40 minutes anyway, that maybe that's not the plan. We got another, that's your second one of the day, Blues, Nate. Thank you very much. Oh, your generosity. We're only on Friday night. So we've got a whole weekend ahead of us. Beautiful try. Use that grunt up front. And he needs space, says Mr. All-In. Waratahs are a massive force at home. Running out of time here, Chief says, well, although still 27 minutes, so plenty of time for them to be able to get points. In 27 minutes last week, Moana Pacifica put on over 25 points up against this Waratahs side. Nice stepping from Rona. And also Skirt, says Blues Nate. And now when D-Mac rocket in the mullet, he plays good at 10. Blues Nate equals legend, says Glenn Woods. He certainly does, down towards the halfway line. Nicely taken by Joseph Soali'i. They managed to keep it out of his hands throughout this half. Now going in for the turnover. Don't get it there, the Chiefs. Angus Bell on the halfway line. Summer Penny Fee now almost again. Getting on the verge of that steal. Come on, the mighty Chiefs, says Tiari. And creating space is something else, Sammy. Says Mr. All-In. Tars are a massive toother. Australian teams at home. A massive tooth. Yeah, I think that's what you said. Now going off to the left-hand side, Tristan Riley tries to go through. Chiefs making the tackles again round the halfway line. Little grubber attempted. And behind him, Moni Nuttall went back for a McKenzie again. Knocks the ball on for what would be the 5th time of this match. Having a great day with his hands here, Damien. And Moni Nuttall, he just left it for him. He got it, and to be fair to the Tars, they've used a great tactic here all throughout the match, and that is hit McKenzie round that ball area. And I'm talking about the rugby ball, not the other set. Otherwise, D-Mac still at the back, says Sam. Well, in that case, it's probably a good question. I assume Sean Stevenson may have also been at the back across field. It might have just been that he had the defence for the side that they were on. They are just showing the handling errors. In fact, no, they are showing the replay of the try. Are they targeting Damien? I think they are to a certain level, but they probably know that this Chiefs backline doesn't fire as well when McKenzie isn't able to fire either. I think I'm off. My friend has tickets to Leinster versus Glasgow in Dublin, so excuse to go see 2 good teams play and a few beers after, says Patrick. Someone mentioned D-Mac had a head knock earlier. Is he 100%? I actually don't know. I assume he would be because, they've got all those precautions. But, yeah, he was very slow getting up earlier on in the match. Only about probably 5 minutes in. Had a bit of a wobble, but he's been out there the rest of the time. Can this be a golden point game? It possibly could be. We tried to, say that the last one would be a golden point match just to see if it would happen, but sadly did not. It was very close. Just like this game. Taukei'aho, he will go off, and Bradley Slater, he will make his way on. Like at the moment, the Tars are in the box seat. He doesn't. He needs to break the line roof. Says Mr. All-In. Waratahs come back from loss last week very well, no matter how good McKenzie is. McDonald's tastes better, says Kevin. Have you tried them both, Kevin? In that case, for your judgment. Nice run forward from Rob Leota, although driven sideways from Quinn Tupaia. Angus Bell. The left-hand side again, Rob Leota. Soali'i was going to be a forward pass, but it's cleaned up by a Moni Nuttall. Being told to use it. Ratama goes back across to Naitoa Akoi. Keep it rolling, says Ruth. Ratama again will go for the box kick. I don't think they'll be a mile off getting Xavier Rowan either, and that's going to be another penalty going the way of the Chiefs. I asked you to step. You were in front of the last foot going against Ben Grant there. 10 penalties conceded by the Waratahs. Only 2 by the Chiefs. His attack is of a 9. Says Mr. All-In. These numbers are starting to add up, and it's surprising that they haven't had the warning, although a few things have been for different scenarios. A long time to go in this game. Exactly right. Still 25 minutes left. Can bring a real difference for these sides. Ben Grant, he did get close to charging that one down, but the referee said he was offside, so that is probably why. Thrown in, and it's going to be nicely taken by Naitoa. Oh, what a shot that is on Damian McKenzie again. They've smashed him and made him knock the ball on. I think a lot of people would have dropped that ball in that shot that came in. Hugh Sinclair lined him up from miles away and said, "You are getting smashed." Let's give the ball straight back into the hands of the Waratahs. I haven't seen Mackenzie go back past yet either, but I assume that he has. Now Crichton goes back. And Shane D-Mac doesn't stand a chance. They're smashing D-Mac like he's a boy. All game 2. Says Sam and smashing, bro. Says Rodney. Oh, Ratama very close to getting the steal, and he does win the penalty. Well, they've put a bounty on his head. They have. And he's about the only guy in the back line. In fact, across the whole team, that they are just going time after time. We've got to smash him. And Tars looking tired, says Rape. They're just talking about it in the commentary as well. They've said that there is a target on Damien McKenzie, that anytime he touches the ball, hit him. Let's get the ball into touch. Yeah, just all targeting round the ball height, just right in the abdomen. Just massive shot coming in, but Ratama managed to win it back. Atoi are going to do some payback soon, says Len, but he can't do payback like we saw from Ratplan, who just decided to try and hit them high. The last thing that the Chiefs need is another yellow card in this contest. But yeah, you can certainly put in a big hit. A little bit similar to maybe a quarterback situation. Now, some of the forwards might look to have a bit of a crack at the Tars, but the problem is if they rush up, and now they've done a 2-man smash on Summer Penifino, and he has put the ball down. About as physical as we have seen the Waratahs being, perhaps they are starting to find a way of being able to beat the Chiefs. Maybe they saw something in last week's game with the Reds. How many knock-ons by the Chiefs? 8 handling errors at the moment is how they sit. Only 2 against the Waratahs. His defence, I would question. Says Mr. Orland, not our day, says Rodney. The thing is, even on a day that seems like it's not theirs, unless the Waratahs score again, I think that the Chiefs have still got a pretty decent shot in this one. Because it only takes one play, as we've seen from the Waratahs. 100 metres, they win and manage to score the try. So it will only take one time. That's a big push from the Chiefs, but the ball is available now for the Tars. They are inside of their 22. Kick down the middle of the field from Lawson Creighton. Good kick. Does bounce into touch, almost out on the full. Tars throwing their last punches. Says Drake, well, they know how important this game is. Like, yes, they sit in 6th at the moment, but a loss here could have found them sitting, just in the field of play. Yeah, HIA says Shane. I'm going to be thrown in by Bradley Slater. I don't think we've had any lineouts not called straight. He's just adjusting his feet at the moment, trying to be in the middle. Terrible throw. And it means that the Waratahs have got the ball back again. A Matasero. It's going to be Grant now on the field. Wide cut out pass from Joey Walton. Gets it to Tristan Riley. It's going to be an advantage for a high shot now coming from Amoni Narawa. Do the Tars take 3? Time after time, a great hit song, Hamish, and Jordan of his size. Is of size, says Mr. Orlin. It's a high tackle from Amoni Narawa. No, the Tars are going for the corner. This is a risk, but it could reap massive rewards here. Just catches him on the chin as he was going through. So only be about maybe 7 metres out from the try line. So opportunity again here for the Tars to be able to strike. Intercept try, says Rape, that the prediction definitely has assist. Oh, it's overthrown. Sits up now for Jacobson, who's taken it nicely. 10 metres out from their own line. And again, it looks like Ratama is just going to have to go for the kick, although he gives it to Akoi to try and set them up in a better position on the field. In the pocket for Sean Stevenson, known for a long boot. Given that one a fair amount, but hasn't found touch with it. This is danger. Now, Suali'i again misses his pass. It's gone forward, but because it didn't find the hands, they've said play on. Bradley Slater trying to get that steal in the breakdown around the halfway line back to Creighton again, who will go high. Jason, after this, it looks like Andrew Callaway. There was a change of the line there from Leroy Carter and a knock on again from Damien McKenzie. Is that a nightmare of a game here, McKenzie? It just slips through the fingertips, although he was almost already being tackled while he was on his way down there from Henry O'Donnell. Tahs kicking has been on point. Yeah, they've just found exactly where they're trying to go. They've targeted the right players. They've put in some massive shots. 14 is a tough, but to Leo off the bench is a hard call. Says Mr. Orland. When it's 4 and if Max says Drape, and yet McKenzie is having a berry. Says Rodney. Now, scrum feed here for the Waratahs. 8 knock-ons by D-Mac. Not a great day for him. Says Matthew. Yep, he started with the number 15 jersey on his back. Pretty much every other week from the 10 jersey, he's been the fantasy number 10 of the round with his points. Good tackle there, mate, from McKenzie, who is still yet again he's still a bit slow getting up. And yes, it might be fatigue, but I am curious to see what comes of it. Little chip in behind. McKenzie waiting for it. Goes into his in-goal area. He forces it down that time. And once again, he's not looking flash. Maybe he's got some sort of injury in his abdomen. I'm just guessing at the moment here, but it seems like every time he lands on the ground, he's slower and slower getting back up. There's something wrong with him for sure. See his studs race. Again, I'm off. The guy needs a rest there. Shame. Well, sadly, they've made their subs. So unless it's an HIA, then he's not able to go off. Now, Amato Cero trying to build up some steam. Naitoa Koi lines him up. And they will wrestle him down. Crowd asking for the penalty, but the Tahs have done that all day and haven't been penalised for it. So I doubt the ref will do it the other way. Now, Cortez Ratama trying to get the steal on the breakdown again. Going short side to Amato Cero. Tackle low by Naitoa. Akoi. Knock on in the breakdown from the Tahs, or at least it looked that way. Maybe came off the knee. Feta at 15. Bodie at 10. Damn. There's Mr. Orland and Stark D-Mac off the bench. Oh, interception from Amoni Narawa. Looks for the offload. Risky play. It's knocked on again, this time by Daniel Rona. They're just trying to force it at the moment here, the Chiefs. Every time that ball goes into their hands, they're trying to fire off the miraculous offload. This feels like some sandpaper stuff right here, says Drake. But the thing is, they're still playing with the same ball as the opposition. So I'm not sure. Now, McKenzie wants to bury himself in a hole in the field, says Kevin. Yeah, you do have those days. And I bet you all throughout the week now will be, do New Zealand need Moonga back? Fly half crisis, who's going to take the spot of McKenzie? But, every other week he's been solid. He's just had a bit of well, let's be honest, a shocking game here. But he'll fire back. Currently 15 minutes remaining. They are still ahead by 7 at the moment. We just saw Jake Gordon running with a GoPro on his chest. He's doing the drinks today by the looks of it. Across to the side, partially charged down kick from the Chiefs. Actually made it a slightly more weighted kick. Amoni Narawa up the middle, almost obstruction there against Jacobson. Gets the offload to Boshier, who offloads to Ratama. Once again, going risky. Kicking behind from Sean Stevenson, and it's just going to be too much. Oh! A little bit of blocking there, and once again, McKenzie very slow getting up. But it's gone dead. Sean Stevenson, wrong choice. They had momentum forward. Decided to kick it in behind, got too much of it too deep. Says Rodney, I don't know how the Chiefs are still within 7. That's the thing. As poor as the Chiefs have been, the Tahs need to make the most of it. They need to get this win and need to cut out a bonus point of the Chiefs. I guess he visited his wife last night and see the result. Says Kevin, I'm very confused at what you mean, Kevin. In fact, I think everyone is. Will Crusaders lead the table if the Chiefs lose? They will indeed, yes. Will be top of the table. Lisa Moni's still trying hard, says Glenn. He did have a high shot before, but at least he is trying. Looks like Xavier Rowe now makes his way onto the field here. He's going to feel like hell and aching all over tomorrow, says Ruth. D-Mac is probably hurt. He's been hit a lot today, says Brahm. Yeah, there's something going on body-wise for him at the moment. And I'm not sure whether or not like that early shot that he took, maybe there's even been the problem since then. But now, scrum here for the Waratahs. They need another try. If they don't get another try here, they leave themselves open to a late comeback. Big scrum, both front rows go down, but they have been told to use it. We've hardly seen Suali'i in the last little while. Angus Bell now held up here by the Chiefs. Quintupai and Amoni Narawa wrestle him towards the sideline and they push him out. Xavier Rowe wanted to take it quickly, but it's been touched by the Tars and not able to do so. Let's see that bench fire set studs race. 13 minutes left, ladies and gents. Chiefs have still got a bonus point. It's still 15 minutes to turn the tide. And come on, the Chiefs mana. Here's Len. Now thrown in, nicely taken by Tupavai. The Chiefs still only $3.20. That's a late shot on Damian McKenzie after passing the ball. So they are still targeting him, even when he hasn't got possession. Oh, drop ball. Oh, I don't know if that went forward, but it's going to be a scrum now for the Waratahs again. And the home visitor last night ruined McKenzie's game completely. Here's Kevin. Put D-Mac, or poor D-Mac, they hit him like a dartboard. Ball pass from D-Mac. Here's Rodney. And there as well. Oh. It wasn't like, it was definitely like thigh height of Ruben O'Neill. I feel like maybe if it wasn't a prop, he would have taken it. Like, I don't think it was a terrible pass. Like, maybe would have wanted a little bit more height for the big man. What will the standings table look like if there's a draw? Says Gus, we will go to Golden Point and someone will probably win. In that case, big scrum from the Chiefs again, but they are yet to get a penalty because of it. Low tackle made from Damian McKenzie. Back across to Rob Leota. He's dropped it this time and it's going to be an advantage, but the Chiefs are going to kick it away again. Xavier Rowe looking for the deep kick. This one going towards the sideline, but will bounce up. Or Tristan Riley back across field. Joseph Suali'i. Is he going to kick it? Yes, he does. Doesn't find touch with it. Nicely taken by Sean Stevenson. Moves up to the halfway line. Sells the dummy almost through. Oh, that's a cheap shot from Suali'i. A thigh to the side of the head. That is a very interesting one. We saw Sean Withy last week have a knee. They are just checking this one to see whether or not it's foul play from Suali'i. No arm wrap. Just decided to give him pretty much what looked like an attempt at a knee, but he got him with the thigh to the head of Sean Stevenson. Wait to see what happens to Suali'i. Yeah, staying down was Kalen Boshier, but he is back up on his feet now. They are going to the short side. I think Xavier Rowe just said, how's that advantage coming along? Now Jacobson. A lot of tired players here, ladies and gents. Slow to get back to their feet. Tupavai. Now moving up to 25 metres out. There is going to be an advantage now. Favour of the Chiefs. Yellow card says Glenn Woods. Nothing has been said yet, and they also haven't checked it yet. I don't believe. I assume that the TMO has looked at it. So it might be the situation of the TMO will get involved after we have a stoppage. Not NRL, Joseph Suali'i. But the thing is, even in the NRL, you're not allowed to knee a guy like that. Amoni Narawa offloads it to Stevenson. Still 30 metres out. Chiefs just stagnant at the moment. Right, they're going back for the penalty. Is there going to be a check of this? Let's use the arms, please. That's against number 4, Hugh Sinclair. So they did not check it. Carry on over, says Mr. Orland. I assume that they're saying for Suali'i it was just that he was going to make a tackle if they had been wider. And because he was infield more and he was being tackled, he just hit him with his body instead. I think Dan Mack is showing the effects of eating Wheat Bix and drinking Masashi energy drinks. The pre-game ritual, says Jason. Now 9 minutes remaining and a great player to have off the bench, Taniela Tupou, Tongan Thor. He'll be lining up McKenzie if he can. Throwing it in, nicely taken by Nike Toakoi. Looked like he was met by a strong shot from Amata Cero. I've been told to use it once. Xavier Rowe now going off on the short side. He's tried to kick it, sits up. McKenzie, though, knocks it on again. But there is going to be a penalty. 21 is offside. Oh, Big shot coming in from Leroy Carter on, I think it was 21 there. Jack Grant. McKenzie, the ball just does not like him today. If they like NRL bunkers, they won't do anything. Says TH. What's the penalty count now? I believe the Waratahs are up to about 13 penalties against them. 21 offside. We're going to see it here. Xavier Rowe went for the kick in behind. It still, I don't think, was the best choice in here. McKenzie not able to regather. De-knock on Kenzie. Bit of tension here. And I don't think they'll want to go to golden point here if you are the Chiefs. Although, to be fair, you just take anything you can get. At this point, they will kick it into the corner again. 5 metres out. In fact, closer to 7. Kenzie's body language at the moment does seem like he has all but given up. This is the type of game that, as a player, this either makes or breaks you. And at the moment, McKenzie does seem a bit broken, but still has the chance. Because that's the thing. If they do score the try, let's say they get it, they still have to manage all the Waratahs trying to shut that one down, but there will be another penalty. This is about 14th one now against the Tars. Six has been told to leave it alone, but there seems like there's going to be no yellow again here. I know bin someone, says Sam. Wonder how many times they are going to be able to infringe inside of their own 22 here, the Waratahs, before something happens to one of their players. And obvious, they'll get the penalty or Pinata of the Night award. So it is another penalty to the Chiefs now. The crowd are not happy about it. Get in there, Chiefs. And we have got their, where is the card, says Drape. Off his feet, uses his hands is the call. It's kind of cynical, is it not? Definitely that close to the line. It looks like now the Chiefs have decided that they want to go for the scrum rather than the line out, which is a massive credit to the Waratahs' maul defence. Still 6.5 minutes left now. McKenzie, he will know that someone's coming flying straight at him once this play takes place. I feel like at the moment they can't even hide him. Anywhere that they put him, Waratahs are on it. Jacobson off the back, says Rodney. Attack from the back, says Mr. All In. And come on, Chiefs, knock on, says Drapier. They've had plenty of them throughout this match. They have probably knocked the ball on just as much as the Waratahs penalty count. Just plenty. McKenzie will never visit his wife the night before again. Once bitten, twice even worse, says Kevin. Now Xavier Rowe gets the ball in here for the Chiefs. And it's another penalty. Neil Atupo is not happy about it. Neither are the crowd. What do the Chiefs do now? They're in that scenario. They're pretty much being forced to either go scrum or line out. Sorry, Chiefs fan. Bet on them. Poison touch. Says Studs Race. And D-Mac does have the dummy for the rush defense better. Says Mr. Allin. D-Mac can't come off. Just don't pass the D-Mac. That's the thing. They could actually use Damian McKenzie as a dummy runner. It would be brutal because he's been hit bloody hard all throughout this game. But if you chuck him forward, someone's going to hit him, whether he has the ball or not. And that's where you can get yourself another penalty advantage and perhaps even get that yellow card that they've been trying to get for the past 30 minutes. Ball is fed in. This time it comes out the back. Chiefs have been told to use it. Jacobson goes off to Xavier Rowe. There's McKenzie, short ball. Hard again and slow. Back to his feet. Summer Penny Fee now, 10 metres out from the try line. That was close to the task. Another penalty advantage. If someone doesn't go to the bin here, I don't know what they have to do. Now McKenzie trying to run through, gets it off to Quinton Point. Why is he kicking that? And he's put it straight into touch again. Another penalty against the Waratahs. They've been for different things, says the referee. Well, how many different things are there in the law book? Okay, the commentator just said he's disappointed in the referee at the moment as it's going all the way of the Chiefs. What kind of statement is that? Any other ref would have given a yellow. Most refs, I mean, Crusaders versus Hurricanes, we saw 2 yellow cards within 2 penalties or 3 penalties for doing this exact same thing. But yeah, for all different things, not even a warning for the Waratahs at this point. What is the penalty count in this match? I'm going to have a quick look here. Our ref got $10,000 in the bank tonight. But the thing is, when we think about it, the first half, like that disallowed try and whatnot, you'd almost think he was going the other way. But now Jacobson, chance again, 10 metres out from the line. This ref is a shocker, and that commentator is trying to deflect, says Flesham. Seems like the ref is very similar to the Highlanders versus Blues idiot, says Jason. Was the penalty for? So pretty much just off his feet in the breakdown, slowing it down. Another penalty advantage, this time for not rolling away. For however many times, Quintal Pyer, 3 metres out. Moni Narua, pick and go. Even if they score here, I would assume that should still be a yellow card. That's going to be held up for Jacobson, rolled over onto his back, held up, double blow of the whistle. Now the referee does go to the corner, to the pocket. Crowd are not happy about it, but they've been given 15 lifelines in this case. Discipline. What's the count now? Penalty count 16 against the Waratahs before they had their first yellow card in this contest. And about 10 of those penalties have been within their own 22. Make of that what you will. About 5 minutes later, says Studs Race. What's up with the referee, says Vinny. I'm not sure, to be honest. Matasero is not happy about it. Big defence here, need to steal, says Mr. Allen. And that's the thing. This is no guarantee that the Chiefs are going to score this because they have had multiple handling errors throughout this one. But they've got 2 minutes 30. And only it's 10 penalties before cards, says Sean. This referee, he gave an extra 6 just in case that they were going to change their ways. I'm not going to waste time, says the ref. Time is off. Right. 5 metres out from the line. It is a chance for the Chiefs. This game will end in a draw, but not for Mackenzie. He's having a nightmare. The thing is, if it ends in a draw, we go to golden point time. But one thing that many people are forgetting about a draw is that means Mackenzie has to get a kick over. And with how he's played here, with how many hits he's taken, I don't know if anything is a guarantee off the kicking tee for Mackenzie at this point. Dan Rugby on says Blues, Nate, big push from the Chiefs. They're being told to use it both sides down. Now passing across to Mackenzie, tries to shuffle another tackle. And we'll look to get into the breakdown, but it is there for the Chiefs. They're about 5 to 10 metres. Quintal Pyer, he's looked good since the second half got underway. Now Rowe, back across to Naitoa, Akoyo. Ruben O'Neill once again found himself almost in front. He's actually done that twice, and it could have been a penalty for either time. Rowe, back across. That's a hospital pass from Xavier Rowe, but Quintal Pyer does extremely well to be able to hang on to it. Amoni Narua goes back across to Jared Profitiniala Tupo, looking for the ball, couldn't handle it again. Luke Jacobson, good shot on him. Look for the offload. Is that a knock on or is it play on? There's the penalty to Waratahs again. And she's going to lose. And honestly, they deserve it in some regards. How poorly that they have played. Oh no, did he hit his child in the face? I think it was an accident. He might have celebrated and gave her the old smack to the forehead. Apply the pressure, says Mr. Orland. And not again, says Nov Mum, and Damien must now step up and finally step down, says Kevin Davis, and what an upset, says James. Although the odds overall were pretty even heading into the start of this contest. I saw at halftime, even with a 14-point lead, Waratahs only just considered favourites. They are just showing how far they have improved. I haven't seen Joseph Suali'i in the last about 30 minutes, which, I mean, maybe that is why we're seeing the scoring slowing down for the Waratahs. Is it finished? Not quite. 1 minute remaining on the clock. All the Tars have to do is get this ball out, win the line out, and then go for about 3 or 4 phases and kick it out. But now, just talking about the fact that Amatasero is off the field, which does mean that they do need someone to be able to get that jump. Don't pick Damien in the All Blacks, says Sam. I mean, it's one bad game. He's been one of the standout fly-halves throughout the rest of the competition, and they also played him as fullback in this matchup for at least 50 minutes just for him to get out of form. New Zealand side slipping, says David. Although I think that the Australian sides also need some credit in that regard. Like this Chiefs side, they have been poor, but the reason they've been poor, that's a knock-on from the Waratahs. They've now given the Chiefs the last chance. The Tars have tried to lose this game multiple times, I will mention. But luckily for them, the Chiefs haven't had that clinical nature that got them to the top of the table. Taniela Tupou, Tongan Thor, the man who did put that one down. They've just said if they score and convert, they go to golden point. But I have a feeling that there will be a kick at the post if they do score, and I have a feeling that that one might not quite find the mark. Knock on Damien to score try last minute, says Rodney. I think, for me, if he was going to get a winning moment, it's going to be in golden point time. And the Tars would be utterly disappointed because they should have won this game a long time ago. Only had 7 points in the second half. The benefit for them, though, is that the Chiefs have only had 7 just at this point, too. Now, ball is put in. Massive scrum from the Chiefs. They've got the penalty advantage, so they can throw everything into this. Xavier Rowe goes across to McKenzie. The middle to Quinn Tupai. Joey Walton. Oh, straight away. Ref goes back for the pen. That's not close, Shane, says Mr. Hallin. Now they have the chance to once again kick this one into touch. They think it's all over, says David. Now McKenzie needs to get this one close to the line. Does just that. About, oh no, it's not that close. About 12 meters out. I'm not sure if I'm great at lip reading, but I think he said just one more or something to Amoni Narawa there. How much time left? We are currently over the 80-minute period. If the Tars get this ball and kick it out, they will win this game. That was close to a knock-on from the Chiefs. Samapeni Finau, though, pops it up to Xavier Rowe off to Quinn Tupaia. They're trying to hold him up, but he's going to be wrestled down. Sitting 15 meters out, the defense of the Tars still trying to scramble. Sinclair was close to getting the steal again. 22 meters out. D-Mac still putting in the hard yards. Go, you little hero. That ball's gone backwards. Tars looking for that one steal, and they are close. For now, the Chiefs are losing ground. They won't be too willing to throw this one hugely out wide, just because then you find yourself a bit isolated. Trying to get the steal again. Waratahs player loses his feet. Xavier Rowe goes across to Bradley Slater. A try here and conversion would take us to golden point. Callaway offside, but jumps back. I believe it's going to be play on. Jared Prophet now. New South Wales, a bit of a fumble there from Tupovai, but hangs on. Now Rowe. Back across. I think the Chiefs are trying to work their way towards an advantage here at some point. Try and be able to take a bit of a risk close to the steal again, but the clean out from Sean Stevenson and Leroy Carter, the two men who started this game on the wings, are still getting in there. Rowe goes across to Kalen Boshia. Now it looks like they're going to shift to Leroy Carter. Tackle well. Walton tries to get the steal, but doesn't quite have a long enough arm. Now Rowe trying to get a little bit of width going. Don't want to isolate themselves here, though, the Chiefs. Xavier Rowe, cross again to Luke Jacobson. Another tackle to about 10 phases in a row, although it's felt like a few more. Samapeni Finau loses his footing. Rowe goes back across to Tupovai. We're up to 83 minutes. Quinn Tupai out to Stevenson. Tackled by Suali'i. And like I mentioned, one of the first times we've seen him in a while, that ball is still on the side of the Chiefs. Oh, Daniel Rona looking the wrong way. Crunched by Suali, came in a bit high. Now Rowe again goes back across to the side to Ruben O'Neill. Being told to let that ball come out the back. The Chiefs will still have the bonus point if the game ends like that. That was close to a knock-on the ground. Rowe goes back across to Damian McKenzie. Sean Stevenson tries to step, bundles out of one, and moves up to 20 meters out from the line. 84 minutes through, this game is not going to come to an end by the looks of it. And the thing is, if they score and convert, we've still got golden point time. But first they need to score. Samapeni now off to Mackenzie in behind to Daniel Rona. Isolate a very good play to offload that one back. Quintal Pryor runs it down the middle of the field. Still there. Rowe wasn't sure what way to go, so goes off to Ruben O'Neill. 25 phases in a row here. Oh, that was a risky one from Jared Prophet. Found himself in an offside position. He's just trying to stand near the ref. McKenzie goes across to Amoni Narawa, out to Sean Stevenson. The thing is, they haven't taken too many risks. That's straight in off their feet there for the Waratahs. Referee says the ball's still there. We're up to 30 phases in a row now. Samapeni now. McKenzie goes off to Naito Akoi. Kalen Boshia tries to flick it. Suali'i with the deliberate knockdown. Oh. The ref calls it as a knock-on. Maybe they should check that. I think they have to. Suali'i, I believe that was a deliberate knockdown. Are you happy it's in the tackle, says the ref. He's asking the touch judge. They have to check this after this many phases. We're 85 knocked on in the tackle, not intentional, and the Waratahs win the game 21 points to 14. Wow, that was quite the finish to the contest. They didn't even check it. They did not know. The touch judge was the man with the final say, and he said, look good to me. So they said, whistle blow, that's the end of it. Chisney Tava Nawai here, says Jason Hamilton, and Waratahs, well done, says Roof. So they will receive 4 points. The Chiefs will receive 1. I don't think these two sides would have handled golden point, if we're being honest. They're both looking absolutely exhausted. They're trying their best not to sit down. The Waratahs here. Congratulations, ref. Notice no replays on the knockdown. I noticed that indeed. They've said that it was clearly in the tackle attempt, but I'm not sure. I will have a look at it. We'll see what we say. So if his arm is outstretched, even if it's in the tackle attempt, it's still considered deliberate in the way that the law is. We'll have a look now. Xavier Rowe, he went that way first. I'm on the wrong side of the field. Thank God, says Roland. And there as well, and Tars, great heart. Chiefs played poorly. Refereeing was extremely poor, in my opinion. Says Studs Race. That's the thing. Like, yes, the Chiefs might feel slightly hard done by. But at the same time, you can't drop the ball 18 times and win a game. Like, it's just the handling was poor. The decision-making, the amount of times they kicked that ball away, that's what got the Tars the lead in the first half, was giving the ball to them and allowing Suali'i into the contest. No bonus point try for the Tars. It's rugby, the ref is always right, says David. The ref gets an extra 20,000 for that decision, says Glenn Woods. Right, we're going to see it here. Kalen Boshia. We're going frame by frame. Nah. That's a deliberate knockdown. That's not very good from Suali'i there. They've disguised it as he was trying to go for the tackle, but he knew. Nah. That frame there, I wish I could show it, but I don't know what the copyright regards are. I wouldn't want to get in trouble for just a split frame, but the shot of Boshia just about to throw it, there is no sign that he was trying to tackle him. He is instead reaching and stretching to cut that ball off, and that's a 2-on-1. In fact, 2-on-none on the outside. But, like I said, the handling cost them. The Waratahs, as much as that second half was tough on them, like, they are still in that scenario. Your play commentary at the end was awesome. We see their yellow or red card offense. It's normally a yellow card in that case. But, yeah. Interesting, to say the least. But, like I said, the handling, the Chiefs weren't strong enough. at times any Champions Cup games of Super Rugby tomorrow, says Yarnley. We are doing both. Fun fact. But yeah, we've got next game Glasgow versus Leinster. That is going to be kicking off in only around 7.5 hours time. Hurricane, says Shane. And we have got there, I'm going to apply to the TAB for my money back, says Studs Race. And didn't deserve to win. Yeah, like, as much as the penalty count was a factor, and, you know, all those decisions, you know, you could look at that Lalakai Fekete one and say that on-field decision was a try. If it was simultaneous, then normally decision goes in favour of the on-field decision. So they could have had the try there, the task, but I think just as a whole, the officiating for this game was below par, I think is the best way of describing it. The Tars, they did enough work early that they deserved the win. The Chiefs weren't able to get back into it, no matter how much they tried, but its focus is on the forwards. Says Mr. All-In. Awesome commentary as usual, Hamish. See you all tomorrow, says Matthew. So yeah, we will have plenty of streams coming up tomorrow, including Glasgow versus Leinster in 7.5 hours time. Alongside that, I've also got Super Rugby we will be doing on the channel as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all for the next one.